Good morning, Twitch.tv. Good morning to YouTube as well. And, of course, good morning, mini Motorways. Let's go to Zurich for today's daily challenge. We will begin with one roundabout, and that's all the roundabout we get. But we do get double bridges. Samurai Sam has resubscribed with, I was going to say Twitch Prime, which it sort of is. Prime Gaming, Amazon Prime. I don't know what they're calling it these days. The point is, Samurai Sam has been a member of the Goog troop for 58 months. Holy crap, Sam. Nearly 5 years we have been at this. My goodness. All right. Ow, and that's just subscription. That's not even counting the time before there was an affiliate. And oh, dear Lord. We're all old. It's what I'm learning. Including most times I have to move my body. It's like, oh right, I'm old and large. A bit of advice, friends. Don't get old. And if you have to get old, don't be large. And if you have to be large, I don't know what to tell you. It's not great. Oh, God. We got reds, we got blues. We'll take these yellows up over in this fashion. Swing them down like so. Let's have ourselves another tunnel. We've got the big old Uetliberg with which to deal. So that's probably going to be an issue. Now, granted, the Limmat here is also going to be a problem. But, you know, we can deal with things as and when they come up. The fact that we're not going to get roundabouts means it's ever so much more likely that the game will throw bridges or motorways or tunnels or things that are actually useful at us. Right? Right? I noticed that nobody is jumping up and down to answer that, so it may or may not be actually correct. In the meantime, let's draw this road over to here. We'll bulldoze that tree. Sorry about that tree. And then this blue just kind of had to share a road with the yellows. This right here would be a fine place for a traffic light if one was so inclined, which yeah, I may or may not be at some point in the indeterminate future. For now, we've got these reds coming over here. I'd like to bridge these independently, but, you know. Samurai Sam notes that the National League Central is supposed to be a weak division, but all of the teams that are in it are at least 3 games over 500, which is weird, but, you know, it is also April 21st. Weird shit happens in April. And that rolls us neatly into your minor Mets news of the day. Samurai Sam has redeemed your minor Mets news of the day. And your minor Mets news of the day is that Carlos Mendoza is still somehow the Mets manager, despite, well, 1, being bad at it, and 2, the Mets having lost 11 games in a row to see them go from 7-3 to 7-14. And, all right, look. I suppose Westman 0071 has redeemed the Goog's terrible French accent, so this is an unfortunate combination of things coming up as we discuss the plight of the Mets en français. Ho, ho, ho. Not actually en français, just with the shitty accent. So, the thing is, it is an indication of a good process in place that the team is not panicking. It is true that weird shit happens in April. It is true that Juan Soto, he is injured. He has not been playing recently. These are all things that are correct. However, it is also true that Monsieur Mendoza was the manager last season when the Mets had a big lead in the division, and then they fell apart like pile of garbage. They played like the crap for the remainder of the season. They missed the playoff. The team looked bad and unmotivated and did not do the little fundamental things correctly.
And it is also true that this season the team looks bad and unmotivated and does not do the little things correctly. And this was supposed to be the, how do you say, selling point of Monsieur Mendoza. He was supposed to be good at the soft stuff, as the Americans like to say. It is bad.
So yeah, Carlos Mendoza is not a good tactical manager, as evidenced most recently by the fact that he decided to pitch to Nico Horner, a tremendous contact hitter, in a situation where it would have been very easy to walk Mr. Horner and pitch to someone else. And instead, he just let Nico Horner make contact, which is a thing Nico Horner does, and hit a sacrifice fly and win the baseball game. But hey, it's not like that was the most obvious thing in the world that any tactical dumb shit could have done. Nope. Hello, Westman. You saw the French accent button, and listen, you got what you paid for with your Goog bucks. You got the Goog's terrible French accent. And listen, buddy, I hope you're proud of yourself, because it sure was fucking terrible. Oh, God. Oh, what was I doing? I was going to connect these reds down here to this red business because, well, what else are we going to do, I suppose? This is, hold on. I said connect that there, didn't I? I could have sworn I said connect that there. Well, now we'll connect that there. Here, render unto me another pair of bridges, and that might be us good on bridges for the rest of the run. Hi. Hello. Well, now we've got all of these beige houses up here, and I could staple them to this road and then do a weird split thing, but I think we're just going to use a bridge and a tunnel. Like, we'll tunnel in here, and then we'll bridge over here, and everything will be basically fine. I think that makes more sense. Sam is on a 45 stream watch streak. And thinks that is weird, given that he did not watch yesterday's stream live. I think if you watch the VOD within a certain amount of time, then that counts as watching the stream for purposes of a watch streak. I think that's true. I don't know if that's true. I have no major opinion on if anyone watches the VOD versus the VOD on Twitch versus watching the proper video on YouTube. In theory, over time, if this was to actually, gain traction and become a revenue generator for me, I would prefer people watch on YouTube, I think. But, there are several dozen steps between here and there for me, none of which have actually been taken in the 5-6 years going on that we've been doing this. So, one thing at a time, I suppose. This green business here is a bit of a problem, but do you know what else is a bit of a problem? I think we're going to use this motorway that we actually, I shouldn't deploy this motorway immediately, even though I have a good use for it, just because some other good use for it might come along. Like, what I want to do is pull these reds off of here and separate this red business from this road, and then just have, this red business come over this way or something. Maybe a motorway straight down to here. But, man, it's a good thing I didn't draw that motorway, because, oh boy. Oh, boys and berries. This is fine. Let's draw this stupid little yellow road right over here and get you and you swinging in thusly. Actually, hold on. Well, this has gone circular, which is also bad. Now that you exist, does this motorway need to? Can these 3 yellow houses just sustain this circle all by their very own yellow housely selves? So I'm starting to think that's the case. And if that's the case, well, then let's revisit. Ow, my eye. Yes, let's revisit the issue of revisiting the issue of this green business. So we'll take these 3 greens right here, and we'll toss one end of, hold on. You go there, and you go roughly over to here. And then we'll go do this, I suppose. Yeah, let's go do that, I suppose. That should be fine. Samurai Sam would like to remember Lash LaRue. Oh my god. Lash LaRue. I remember very little of Lash LaRue, and I suspect that it is because there is very little worth remembering. But Lash LaRue was a guy in WCW's Cruiserweight division, kind of toward the end of WCW, like 1999-2000 is about when he debuted. And he was initially just a guy from Louisiana with red hair. Like, that was basically his entire gimmick. The closest thing he had to a personality was that he had stylized his facial hair such that if you looked at him from the correct side at the correct angle, it looked like the letter L. Because his name was Lash LaRue, you see. So he had that going on. And he was, as I recall, fine. I don't remember having a single opinion about a single Lash LaRue match I have ever seen. So, I'm going to toss this motorway over here because this is ever so slightly shorter and therefore theoretically better. I don't know if that's going to have a material impact on anything, but it's going to make me feel like I'm contributing. So, speaking of feeling like we're contributing, we're going to take these 3 blues, we're going to run them over to here. We're going to extend this road out this way, and now these 3 blues will serve this blue business. This green, give me a tunnel. This green will come down here, and the 1, 2, 3, 4 of you will hop motorway number 2, get down this way. I can probably, now that there's a 4th house here, can I kill this tunnel? Can I reclaim this tunnel road? I kind of want to reclaim this tunnel road. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it does feel like a thing I want to do. No. I feel like if this gets even a little bit more demand, then this extra house is going to be useful. Also, as I continue avoiding the topic of Lash LaRue, these blue businesses are suddenly both mad at me, which, honestly, fair. I have not been very kind to these blue businesses, so what are we going to do about that, I wonder? I don't really have that many blues that I can spare anywhere. Like, I've got 3 blues here, but they're all in use servicing this business. I guess this 4th blue house, which is currently attached to here, isn't really doing now. Yeah, motorway number 2 is fine right now because this single house isn't doing anything yet. But if there's ever an uptick in demand at this green business, then I'm not convinced that these 4 houses will be able to keep up with it, so having the 5th is not a bad idea. If I ever desperately need that tunnel, I might change my mind on that, but right now what I desperately need is more blue guys coming over here. Can I sneak this roundabout in anywhere meaningful over here? No? Okay. Huh. Okay, let's do this. This gets a couple more blues onto the road coming here, but those blues decided not to... Hold on. Why did those blues decide to go all the way up? Why did you go... How did you... Why did you... Here, have another... Okay. 852 commuters over 62 days is not a good number. It is a bad number. It is a bottom 45% number. It is a drop those samurai slams in the chat type of number. Listen, this is all my own damn fault for violating the key guiding principle of one business in one road. Let's go with that because that's probably broadly true. So Lash LaRue was a perfectly fine little generic forgettable cruiserweight wrestler. And I think he was a babyface. I think he debuted as a heel and then he had a bit of charisma, so he turned babyface. And he didn't really do nothing. And he eventually found himself in the Misfits in action. as Corporal Cajun, which was a fine name for the Misfits in action. It wasn't really a dick joke like General Hugh G. Rection, and it wasn't really a goddamn Van Hammer is stupid like Major Stash. We've told the story of Major Stash at least twice on this channel. I'll tell it again. It's fun. So the Misfits in action were a stable of guys who had gotten storyline fired from WCW and came back under assumed identities as a renegade, like, paramilitary A-team stable type thing. So, well, the baby face is, you know, it's cute, it's soft, it's, you know, it's, oh, look at that, you're supposed to like him and root for him, and also they were typically the younger, smoother gentlemen, because, God, wrestling is weird. Anyway, so the Misfits in action were a stable of dudes who had been storyline fired, who came back under fake identities, and there was General Hugh G. Rection, which, yep. And then you had Major Guns, which was a lady with large breasts. And you had Corporal Cajun, which is a nice little alliterative name for Lash LaRue. And you had Lieutenant Loco, which is a nice little alliterative name for Chavo Guerrero. And, you know, they say Loco because racism. And then there's Major Stash. And Major Stash doesn't make any sense. It's not a pun. It's not a joke. Sam, are you intentionally invoking a later theme song of Chavo Guerrero or just excited by the presence of him in a story? That's fun. Either way. So Major Stash was Van Hammer. Van Hammer got storyline fired and he came back in the MIA as Major Stash. And Major Stash doesn't... It's not a pun. It's not a joke. It's just a guy. He didn't even have a mustache. It's not like, oh, he's got a real major stash going on. No, he was just Major Stash. What happened was, Van Hammer, even in professional wrestling and even in WCW of the year 2000, was known as a pothead. He smoked a lot of weed. And so, in order to make a joke as to the open secret that Van Hammer smoked a lot of weed, he was going to be named Private Stash. Because if you have a private stash of weed, that's a thing. That is a thing that people who smoke marijuana are actually aware of and would hear and snicker at and be like, heh, I bet he smokes pot. I like him more. It's a cute little thing, right? Lacey is bored, has routine to stretch. Oh, he stretched. Oh, my arms and spine and oh, dear God. Ow, that actually legitimately hurt. Hold on. So Private Stash would have been a fine, funny joke name for Van Hammer's in-storyline fake military guy, right? It's not even like the gimmick was that you're a military guy and you're a private and your name is Stash. No, the gimmick is that you're doing a gimmick and your gimmick name is Private Stash. Van Hammer did not like being a private. He insisted that he would not be outranked by Major Guns, who was just a lady who was with them whose name was Major Guns because she had big boobs. He insisted that he would not be Private Stash and demanded a promotion in the fake military gimmick that was the gimmick. Not a smart man. Not a smart man was Van Hammer. Gonna go out and say that right now. This has been Let's Remember Lash LaRue. The most interesting thing about Lash LaRue is this stupid thing Van Hammer did one time, which tangentially involved Lash LaRue. Anyway, The wordle today is stash. Obviously. No, none of those letters are in it. I can't even pivot to major. Curse you. All right, fine. The wordle today is olive. No, there's an L. Okay. We're going to get there one goddamn letter at a time, aren't we? The wordle today is... The wordle today is brung. Oh, God, they actually let me enter that word. I feel horrible. Oh, well, we know there's a U. The wordle today is clump. The wordle today might be clump. Hey, the wordle today was clump. Dear God. All right. Now let us go a time guessing. We are starting at Sephirontal, which has Tornaseric and Sportaskakok. No, wait. Sportiskazok. Giara. Yeah. This says 1983. Hey, we know a when. Now the question is, where the fuck are we? Yar Sashalam? That doesn't help. Atlanta? I don't think we're in Atlanta. I'm going to go ahead and suggest that we might not actually be in Atlanta. Oh, thank you for being here, Lacey. Where in the fuck are we? Where in the fuck are we? We are in Amsterdam? Amsterdam or Sweden or something Scandinavian like that, maybe? Oh, God, I sniffed. That's a flag. If I was a person who recognized those, I'd be helped. But, you know, if I was a person who was well-versed in European languages, I would be well aware of where we are, so. Peter S. thinks we're in Hungary, which, okay, fine. Let's take a chance. Make that happen. Pop the cork, finger with it. There it is. We are in Budapest, Hungary in 1983. Because we saw that on a sign. It was 1930. God damn it. Although we were, in fact, in Hungary. Next. We've got some folk and traditional dress in... Oh, it's time to put a rule of thumb to the test. This looks like it could be Russian, but isn't in Cyrillic. That means we're in Poland, is the thinking. So yeah, we are in somewhere Poland, presumably Warsaw, in 19... How do we feel about 19 Don't Move the Thing? This also says Olska, which could mean Polska, which would be Poland, which does prove the rule of thumb. Westman says 1970. I was going to suggest 19 Don't Move the Thing, but this could be 19. Yo, hi. I just saw this lady's hair. Yeah, this is... that might be an actual ceremonial headdress thing, but let's go with the idea that that's your hair, and that's a more 60s look. And if it's a 60s look, that means it isn't actually in the early 60s. So yeah, let's go Warsaw, Poland, 1970. Sure. Seems feasible. Warsaw, Poland, 1972. Hey. Thank you, Westman. Next. We got us a street. Sam thought it was 1980. That was incorrect. Next. Oh, well, hold on. We got this, which, that's the Mopokeho. Not great. Got us a cop. And a car with a license plate we can't read. And... hold on. That's the just barely not reedy nonsense. Okay. Something H N upside down L N. The fuck? The actual fuck is this language? Huh. Oh, I was just massively overcomplicating things. Yeah, this is Moscow. Okay, yeah. I wasn't certain that this would be Russian, and I was a little bit more thinking that this could be Russian, and then I saw this Garbo crap right here. This is Russian. So, we are in Moscow, Russia, in 19... well, let's just pop our pin in Moscow and then have us think. 19... Don't move the thing? Kind of like 19 Don't Move the Thing. We got something that kind of looks like a vocal. Maybe just a little bit of a thing, like 1966? Westman thinks this is 45 or 50, which... I don't know. That feels a little... I kind of like 19 Don't Move the Thing. 1967. Okay. So I could and should perhaps have gone with 66, but 19 Don't Move the Thing was, you know. See, Sam, I have a very simplistic view of things. Unless there's a very obvious landmark that puts it in a quote-unquote secondary city in that country, once I've found the language, I'm just going for the capital. Like, if this is Russian and there isn't a sign that says welcome to St. Petersburg, I'm putting my pin in Moscow. And if this is Hungarian and there isn't a sign that says welcome to the second city in Hungary, which Goog definitely knows, I'm putting my pin in Budapest. And hey, we were just a little bit down the street. So good job, Goog. But it was close. Ish. Was good enough, sort of. Next, we've got, all right, a whole bunch of generally happy folk in mostly green jerseys. Okay. I'm guessing this is World Cup times. This is Nelson Mandela Square, presumably in South Africa then. This will be... find the Madiba in you. Hey, I have an idea. Hey, friends, I think we might have a thought as to the where and the when, just from like this little zoomy right here, and also like there's a World Cup or something. But we are in. Which one of these is the capital? There was a World Cup in South Africa in 2010. Yes, but there was also a hey, it's 2018 and we're celebrating stuff sign in South Africa in 2018. Oh, God. Which one of these is the fucking capital? I don't remember. I think it's Johannesburg. That sounds right. We are in Johannesburg, South Africa, specifically Nelson Mandela Square. Can I find anything that is calling itself out as Nelson Mandela Square right away? Because that would be good and convenient. Might be a little bit much to ask. Cape Town's the... I knew that. That was a test. Sam passed the test. Or he's lying to me. One of those. Deception is a horribly trickerous thing for a person to do, but it could be, you know, competition and all that. Anyway, we are in Nelson Mandela Square, which, as we all know, is part of Cureboom Park. in Cape Town, South Africa in 2018. God damn it. You deceived me without even lying to me. You horrendous monster. Oh, God. All right. Hi. Hello. So these gentlemen are very happy with their 15-pound laptop. It's a compact laptop with Intel inside. Oh, and we don't have a trackpad, but we do have like left and right click. Good job, guys. Good job, folks. All right, so y'all are very happy at the first something of Indiana. So we are in Indianapolis, Indiana in 1989. Maybe? When would these guys be showing off this laptop? I mean, this is... Obviously, by modern standards, it's a bit of a brick. But... What do we think? 1990? I don't think this is Chicago on account of this being the first something of Indiana. And nothing in Chicago would advertise Indiana. Indiana has more self-awareness than that. We are in... Oy. God. Let's say we are in Indianapolis, Indiana in 1989. It was 1997. Holy crap. All right, fine. Final score is 41-544. That sure is a decent number. Please ignore the longy dashy line over there and the obvious much cheating that happened. Let us do a stat pad. For today's stat pad, we're looking for dingers, specifically from catchers in the AL West in the 20-teens, Pittsburgh Pirates over the last 45 years, dude who played in the ALDS from 2015 to 2020, and Oakland A over the last 10 years, and a Gold Glover in the AL East over the last 5. Yikes. All right. So a catcher in the AL West in the 20-teens. So this is pre-Cal Raleigh. Evan Gattis comes to mind, but he had most of his success with Atlanta, as I recall. And also not as a catcher. Like, he caught sometimes, but not a lot of the time. Mike Napoli could be here, but this is like... I think this is after he had transitioned out of catching. So... I've successfully talked myself out of a couple of options. The hell am I gonna go to? Oh, could be a Kurt Suzuki pull. No, Kurt Suzuki was not a dingers guy. Oh, damn it, blast. Let's just say like 2010 Evan Gattis. Evan Gattis began his career in 2013, so it's probably not 2010 Evan Gattis. Doesn't need to be homers as a catcher. They just need to have at least 10 games at catcher in the given year. 2010 Mike Napoli. Got it. 2010 Mike Napoli. 98th percentile. Good job, Goog. Was Evan Gattis? Evan Gattis was above him. 20. Yeah, okay. So this is... Oh, right. Mike Zunino was a guy who existed. But yeah, this was pick a Mike Napoli year or get the right Evan Gaddis here. Okay, fine. A Pittsburgh Pirate between 1980 and 2025. Name a historically great Pittsburgh... Wait, he played before then. So, makes it hard. All right. Probably Jason Bay. How do we feel about 2008 Jason Bay? I like that. It could be a Pedro Alvarez year. Pedro Alvarez had a few dinger happy seasons. You could be looking at Brian Reynolds, although he wasn't really much of a dingers. Like, he was a guy who would hit dingers, but he was not a dingers guy. Same thing is broadly true of Andrew McCutcheon. No, let's just say Jason Bay. And 2008? Yeah, 2008 Jason Bay. 22 dingers, 74th percentile. Brian Giles. I forgot. Oh, I thought 2009 was the year he got traded to the Red Sox. Oh. Oh, well. There are no J. Ray Bays that would have made the top 5. It's Brian Giles. He was quite good at baseball, as it turns out. And hey, I was right that there was a Pedro Alvarez here. A dude from the AL Central who played in the ALDS from 2015 to 2020, which means you're looking at the 2015 Royals, who I know won the World Series that year. And then, boy, 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20? We'll just toss out 2020 right away. Also, yeah, Barry Bonds does exist. This is true. We'll toss out 2020, so you're looking 16, 17, 18, 19. Man, I don't even know. 18 is not the year the Tigers played the Red Sox in the ALCS. That was 13. So, yeah, I don't know, man. There's probably another team in there, but we're just going to try to find the guy who had the most dingers on the 2015 Royals, which means Lorenzo Cain, Mike Moustakas, Eric Hosmer? Eric Hosmer? No. It's not going to be Eric Hosmer. Yeah, fuck it. 2015 Lorenzo Cain. It's presumably a decent-ish pull. 2015 Lorenzo Cain is below average. Nelson Cruz and a bunch of Guardians years. Okay, fine. All right, fine. Turns out that the Twins were good in 2019. Who knew? Presumably Twins fans, but. And Oakland A over the last 10 seasons. That's, is that just Nick Kurtz last year? I think that's just Nick Kurtz last year. Like, maybe if you think about it some more, you can pull another guy, but I'm not going to bother pulling another guy. We're just going to say 2025 Nick Kurtz. 95th percentile. Could have gone with Chris with a K Davis or Brent Rookie. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. That also would have been reasonable to go with Chris with a K Davis. Fine. Lastly, a Gold Glover over the past 5 seasons in the American League East. So, you're looking at Gunnar Henderson didn't win a Gold Glove, did he? I don't think he did. So you're basically looking at just a whole bunch of defense guys. Like, there's probably a Kevin Kiermaier in here, but Kevin Kiermaier couldn't fucking hit. There might be a Kevin Pillar. There might be a Kevin Pillar season in here. Kevin Pillar couldn't fucking hit. Anthony Volpe? 2024 Anthony Volpe? I am currently at an even 100. So 2024 I need 33 dingers? I'm sorry, you're telling me that someone in the past 5 seasons, because 2020 doesn't count for these. Functionally doesn't count because it was a 60-game regular season. You're telling me that someone from 2021 through 2025 hit 33 dingers and won a Gold Glove while playing in the American League East. Okay. Who the fuck would have hit 30 dingers in the American... Aaron Judge? Did Aaron Judge win a Gold Glove? I mean, maybe. He's good, but he's not... Aaron Judge didn't win a Gold Glove. Did he? Hold on. Did Aaron Judge win a Gold Glove? 2024 Aaron Judge win a Gold Glove? I don't think that's true. I don't think Aaron Judge has ever won a Gold Glove. I could be wrong about that. Oh, God. There's no penalty for... That's true. Awarded a Gold Glove anytime in career. Okay, so this actually... Oh, hold on. So this is a guy who had won a Gold Glove at any point, which means that it could be a guy who won a Gold Glove when he was young and then turned into a slugger guy, which means that, like, 2025 Alex Bregman is suddenly on the table. Hi. That changes things. Okay. 2025 Alex Bregman? I do like that. That's a thought. Alex Bregman's a thought. Juan Soto never won a Gold Glove. Yeesh. What about No. What about Masataka Yoshida? He never won a Gold Glove. I'll tell you that right now. What about... Cedar Rafael is not a good hitter. Fuck it. 2025 Alex Bregman. Is not a good answer. Sad. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. won a Gold Glove? I'm sorry. What? When did Vladimir Guerrero Jr. win a Gold Glove? Okay. All right, fine. Also, holy crap, Marcus Semien had 45 homers one year. Remember when Marcus Semien was good? He's not. Oh, man. All right, well, 118 sure is a score. My grid beat 15% of other grids. Sad. This game is for people who are smart and know things, and I am not and don't. So that is going to do it for us here today on Good Morning Mini Motorways. Folks, I fully hope to be able to play UFO 50 later tonight. I do, however, have 3 jobs to cover today, so we'll see. We'll have ourselves a think. We'll be back either later tonight or tomorrow for another edition of Good Morning Mini Motorways. Until then, this is the end screen. Have a good day. Goodbye.